That's after another catering encounter in the kitchen with Peter and David, better known as Hudson and Halls.
Everybody at home, welcome to the show.
Everybody at home.
We're going to do
cooking?
Yes, we're going to do something very special. It's a full meal. We start off with a vegetable salad with croûtes. You'll see what that is later on. We also do chicken parcels in filo pastry with baked spring onions, a champagne and pumpkin sauce, and also we finish up with the champagne and orange sorbet.
And our guest today is as effervescent as the champagne, Eve Ferret. I'll be there in a moment.
I knew you'd
have trouble with that, actually.
I do that
it's the expensive cups, tight sleeves and wide things. Now, as Dave said, we're going to do some chicken dishes for you, or a chicken dish tonight.
A chicken dish.
And I want to start firstly by preparing the chicken breast.
I think I've put on
now,
weight.
Have you? You have.
Just go round me three times, don't it? Go round once. Sorry.
Talk when it's your turn, not when it's mine. Now, we have here, quite seriously, a chicken breast, and I've removed the skin from that, like this. Now, a chicken breast, this is, and I'm not being facetious, this is one side I'm talking about, not the two, which is then a whole breast, and that's not meant to be funny. That's serious. Take the skin off, and you'll find here...
A little titter went through the audience then.
Oh, you have to steal lines. You'll find here a fillet. If you just cut that away like that's the piano movers, I suppose, is it in again?
Didn't you pay the last
Take
bill?
that fillet off like that, because what I'm going to do, and keep this, we're going to poach it. I'll explain that to you in a moment. Boy, they are strong, aren't they? Just take some cling wrap, because it's very strong, this stuff, and lay it out, and lay this fillet on there like that. I can't look and get this undone, you know what I'm going to do, don't you?
What?
Because I've taken it out the box. I can't tear it off. So we just leave that to the side like that. And I said once before, if you keep this cling film in the refrigerator, quite seriously,
why don't you do
it breaks the static electricity and you don't have that trouble. So what I'm doing now is flattening this chicken breast because I want to stretch it out, but I don't want to get any holes in it because we're going to actually stuff this and then roll it. So here goes with my bit. Oh, I should have nipped that bit, never mind. You can get on.
Oh, thank you. While he is bashing it, if you haven't got one of those cleavers, then use a rolling pin. What we did for the... It's not really a stuffing. It's not really a stuffing. It's just a flavouring for the chicken. And what we've got in here are 6 dried apricots, which we've soaked in hot water, drained them and chopped them very finely. Then I've also going to add to that now a tablespoon of parsley. Get that all out. Oops, all over everywhere. And we've got about half a teaspoon, this is good, isn't it, of dried tarragon. Goes in there. You can use thyme if you want to. A couple of small spring onions, just chopped, just to give a little bit of flavour. And a tablespoon of Dijon mustard, which is a soft flavoured mustard. And you just mix that together. And as I say, it's not a stuffing, it's just a flavouring. And this will actually do 4 of those fillets or breasts that Peter is doing there. That's enough for 4 of them.
Okay. Well, I'm only doing one, as I say, to explain the principle
Quite
to you.
right, Pete, quite
so
right.
about... make a messy mess.
Oh, and pepper and salt if you so desire.
Very good. Well, I don't like to add... I like to add
salt.
pepper and salt at the end to your own personal taste. About 2 or 3 teaspoons of this. Just push it out to the edges like this. Now, I'm going to roll this up, and I'll do this, I think, from the pointed end here, for want of a better word, and just carefully roll this up. It doesn't matter if the filling spills out until it's down like that. And then tie this with some string, because I say we're going to poach this off. And just tie it, not too tightly so that you burst it, because don't forget it will swell in the cooking. Just do this twice as long enough for this one. There's a bit enough.
It's only to virtually just hold it together, isn't it?
That's what I said.
Yeah, I don't know whether you said it.
Well, I do say it. Just mind your own business, would you?
You know,
So just tie that like that, as Noel said there, to just keep those together in the cooking. And then put it in a dish about, well, it depends on how many you're doing. Just carefully place that in a dish. Half of it's fallen out, never mind. cover it with water. Now, this is very important. Cover this with water because you want the thing, you want to make sure it still stays moist. There's not enough water. Excuse me. It's gone all up my arm, but never mind. Imagine that's covered with water. Now, what I would add to that now is a few whole peppercorns, some bay leaves, some carrot, some parsley, because I want to use this stock that it's poached in for an actual sauce afterwards. So this you would place in the oven, a preset oven, 200 degrees. Oh, and it is too.
Bottom, middle, middle, middle,
oh,
middle,
yes,
middle,
yes,
middle,
yes. Middle, middle, middle. I should remember, shouldn't I, looking at you? 200 degrees, preheated 200 degrees, and that is, now we're talking poaching here, not boiling. Let that cook for about 20 to 25 minutes. And the water, when you look into the oven, and this is very important, should just be shimmering. Not like that, like that. That's jelly. I'm talking about water.
Wait till you see Eve, can she
Oh,
shimmer?
And you see, I forgot to put that in, so I would have put that in as well.
Now,
Yeah,
when it's cooked, just leave it to go cool in its liquid, and then save that liquid because Peter's going to use some of that to make a sauce later on. Well, I have to do it because I can't hear sometimes what you say. Go on. Here's another one for you. There you are.
Oh,
you don't need all of that, but you need some of it. Now, I've just brushed here, I'll just show you that very quickly. I've just brushed this baking dish with some melted butter. You can do it with either melted butter or oil. Doesn't make really much difference, as long as you do it so they don't stick. Now we come to the next bit, which is we just cut these in half, and I knew I had a knife here for a reason, and I've thrown it away. I'll get another one. Oh, I've got to take the strings off. Now just take off the string that was put on there at first, and then we're going to put them in filo pastry. And filo pastry is very, very thin pastry. What are you doing?
I'm just clearing up for the next move.
Filo pastry is a very thin pastry that you use when you're making something like apple strudel, or something like that. So just cut that in half. Now this will make, when you've got, the recipe calls for 4 of these fillets, so you can have 2 each or 1 each, depending how greedy you are. Now this is filo pastry. It's very, very thin, as you can see. And if you do leave it out, don't leave it out too long because otherwise it will start to get dry and it will go too crisp. So between each layer, you brush melted butter. Now you can actually use melted margarine, but we actually prefer butter because it gives it a better flavour in the end result. I'll just do this as quickly as I can. Now we need 3 of these sheets. One of the other things with it too, you buy them in packets and you don't need that much. So when you've actually done it, a lot of it you can actually place back in the freezer and keep it for later use. When you thaw it out, remember to put it in the fridge and let it thaw out slowly, not very quickly. And the reason I'm talking like this, Pete, is because it's taken me longer than I thought. However, here's the final sheet.
You.
No, I know, you rotten
This is
hound.
lovely.
Yeah. You would do that, wouldn't you?
Oh.
Just stand there, let me do it. Actually, I'll tell you what, make lovely wallpaper. It won't do for anything else because you... Anyway, just be lovely for that. We just put a little more butter on there and we just do that to the edge. Now, because it's large enough, you put 1 there and 1 there and you cut it in half. And then you take some string, and this is very, very simple, but it makes it look very attractive. Reasonably long string.
Go for a walk.
Oh, shut up. You ought to do this. And just do it. Now, this is like doing a little parcel. I was trying how to describe it, and I've decided now what it is.
A money bag.
No, a money bag, or if you're going out and you're Dick Whittington and you're going to London, you do one of these, and then you pop it on your little pole, and off you go to seek your fortune.
With the cat.
With the cat. That's right. So
is this a juvenile programme?
Oh,
because they don't look juveniles to me.
Now, just tie it up like that, not too tight, and that's really all you do. Pop those on there. Now, what you have to do with these now, before you actually cook them, is you take them and you put them in the fridge, and you leave them in the fridge for about 20 minutes. Take them out, set your oven to 200 degrees Celsius and bake them in the middle of the oven, and it takes about 20 to 25 minutes until they go a really nice golden brown. And we've got a couple in there cooking, which you're going to see later on.
Now, as a further interest to you all in this wonderful programme we're doing, I'm going to show you how to bake a spring onion. That, in case you're unfamiliar, are spring onions. But what I've quite seriously done, I've trimmed all the dead bits of old leaves you find on them, trimmed them down to the size. I measured a dinner plate because we are going to roast them off. Just cut the end. Well, I know you'd all do that, take the roots off and throw it away. But sometimes you find the deady bits here. Just pull that old dry bit off, and then again trim them like that. Now all we're doing is placing these. I'm doing this in a single row because they do bake beautifully, and this is the most unusual way to do them. Cover them liberally with melted butter or oil. Make sure you've got all the green part on. This is very, very important. What's that? Oh, more. Thank you. That's very kind of you.
More than the da-da-dee.
Doesn't matter, I don't need that. So liberally paint these with butter or oil. Don't use olive in this instance, use a peanut oil, or actually what would be very nice, a combination of peanut oil and sesame. Now these go in the top of the oven, again preheated to 200 degrees. Just place those on the top there, and they bake for about 8 to 12 minutes. Just watch them very carefully that they don't burn, because I've put a lot of butter on there, and that's going to be served with the vegetable later on.
So we have already cooking, remember, 2 little chicken parcels, 2 little ducks. We can't do that.
It's easy to clean up.
2 chicken parcels in there, browning away nicely. It's Peter spring
Browning.
onions, and then we're going to do the next course. But before we do that, let's hear a person who's going to really give it to you right from the heart. The
Sock it
lovely
to you.
Eve Ferret. Come on, Eve! You're to go!
You're taking me over, you're taking me in. Oh, you're under my blood now, you're under my skin. Woo! Coming away. You're taking me over, becoming a part. Start at my toes, now you're up to my heart. Oh, I go to sleep, but I don't go to dream. To find you in places I've never been seen. Woo! The cool of the morning, the chill of the night. I'm turning all over, but you're nowhere inside. You're under my skin. I've met you before, and you're taking me over, you're taking me in. You're under my blood. I wonder where he's going to go then. And then now I feel like someone I'm not. I'm losing my sleep over sleep that I've lost. Big boy, I need you to comfort. I need you to stay, relax in my arms, and I'll soothe it away. Taking it easy again, and I don't feel like moving. Waiting for words of comfort you say. Taking it easy again, some things have no refusing. Sometimes I feel like I'll throw it all away. You're under my skin. You're under my skin. You're taking me over, you're taking me in. You're under my blood. Now you're under my skin. My skin, my skin, my skin, my skin, my skin. Over and over, you're taking me in. You're under my blood. Now you're under my skin. Yeah.
Now, Eve would normally come through the door, but for normal reasons, as you've just seen, she wouldn't be able to get through because the piano's there. Nothing to do with the size.
So she's going round down the street, round the corner, and she'll come in the front door, and she'll get here later. With Eve Ferret, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, while you're doing that, I'll go down and meet you at the front door and come back.
Now, what we're going to do now is to make the sorbet. And to start the
No, I
sorbet
won't.
off, we actually put into here 1/4 cup of water and 1/2 cup of soft brown sugar, plus the peel from 1 lemon. You bring that to the boil and you boil it for exactly 5 minutes, take it off and leave it to go cold. Then when it's gone cold, you add a few other ingredients to it, namely the syrup from here, like that. And then we also add into that as well the juice and the rind of 1 orange, right? Because remember, there is sugar in there. And the juice of about 1/2 a lemon. Now, the other ingredient is very, very simple, and it's one of those things that really everybody has by the cartload in their house, and that's a bottle of good champagne. You don't? You obviously don't work for the BBC. I do, and I can't even afford it. Anyway, when you've got the champagne, which I always hate to open, because
You are rude to Auntie.
Eh? Auntie? The thief. When you open champagne, be very careful, because I don't know whether you know this, but a champagne cork can leave there at approximately 60 miles an hour. If you point it at anybody at all and it hits them, it can be very dangerous. Right. Just turn the bottle, not
Shall I
the
do
cork.
such a waste?
And that's all you should hear. Now, what we do is make this up to 4 cups, which is 1 litre of liquid. Now, if you don't want to use champagne, and I'm being a bit facetious there, you can actually use any sparkling white wine, and you can use, say, a medium sweet sparkling white wine, because you really don't get much left out of a bottle when you go to 4 cups. It really takes the whole bottle. Put that in the fridge to go cold. When it's cold, you can either do one of 2 things. This here is an ice cream making machine. It makes ice creams and sorbets. This particular one, you put it into the freezer, then you leave it there for about 8 hours or overnight. You take it out. When this liquid is cold, you start the machine running and pour it through. And honestly, we did it in this, and it only took 15 minutes. If you haven't got one of those, don't panic, because all you need to do is put that straight into a cake tin, a metal cake tin preferably, or a loaf tin, pop it in your freezer and leave it there overnight, and it'll freeze just as well. And because it's got such a lot of spirits in it, the champagne and that sugar syrup, it doesn't go too hard. It still gets rather nice. But it's a very simple thing to do. So that's all there is to it. Pierre.
You did that very well, didn't you?
Yes.
Now, whilst David was waffling on about, actually that sorbet is stunning, and in the summer I like to do lots of fresh chopped mint in it, very finely chopped, and it's a beautiful dessert. But David gave me 3/4 of a cup of that stock that we poached the original chicken breast in. I've tipped it in here. I'm adding to this now, I'm just going to bring this up to a gentle simmer. Add to this now 1/2 cup of champagne. I happen to be drinking at the moment, so I may as well add it. You can if you wish. And the rest you drink, of course, while you're cooking it. Now, what we're adding to this too, which is quite unusual, and I understand is not very well known in England, which surprised me, is pumpkin. So I've cooked a pumpkin. Well, I didn't, that's a lie. I'll explain in a moment. It's 1/2 cup of pureed cooked pumpkin, which is going into here. Just let this come up to a simmer, which it is now. I'm going to tip this in. Now, we use tin pumpkin, so it means, in other words, pumpkin is available all the year. It isn't very expensive, and also you don't have to go to any of the trouble of pre-preparing it. So you can get, I think the tins are about that big, use 1/2 of that and freeze the other 1/2 for another time, because this sauce is very nice. Just gently incorporate this so it doesn't splash. I'm just going to simmer this for a few minutes so that it actually reduces, and then finish it off. It's full of lumps.
Right, is
Wouldn't you
Eve
know it?
around, Peter?
I don't know. Ask her. See if she's around. Did she
come
find
on,
the back
darling,
door?
come in. We've kept you out there long enough.
It's cold outside. Nice. Yeah. Lovely. Did you find the back door? A little campers.
Yes, please.
Right. Eve, you know what
How
pumpkin
interesting.
is?
The doors
Yes.
are
We
jammed
had
again.
6 white mice and 2 lizards. We could send you to the ball, dear.
All right.
I'm afraid we can't do that at the moment.
Just a moment. I haven't filled it up yet.
Right, what I'd like to do,
You want a
Eve...
good quantity, don't you?
Yeah, I
What
don't
a
mind.
talented young lady you are. All the things, you've been a cabaret singer, you're an actress, TV star, movie star.
Chef
You've done the
helper.
lot. Have
Chef
you? You're a
helper.
cook?
No, not really. I like to do it, you know, occasionally, not all the time. Gets on my nerves. All the
I
washing
agree
up.
with you. How I agree with
That's
you.
what we
how
do.
I
We don't have to
agree
wash
with
up,
you.
you see.
I'll drink to that.
Now, what I'm going to do now, we said we're going to do a salad with croûtes.
Croûtes.
Croûtes, they're the croûtes,
They're
just
the
toasted
croûtes?
bread with pâté on,
Oh,
you
right.
see. And all we did was made a very simple salad dressing of lemon juice, virgin olive oil.
Yes. Oh,
Definitely virgin
yes.
olive oil. A little bit of salt and pepper and a touch of sugar. And we just pour some of that over these greens. Soft green lettuce. And what I want you to do, green lettuce, what I'd like you to do, darling, is to put 3 of those down the end and 3 of those up the end. Would you mind?
Oh, yes.
Decoratively.
Da, 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 da.
You've done that before, haven't you?
Oh, yes.
Who's Ruby?
Oh, do you not know who Ruby is?
No.
Yes, you do. Hudson and Ruby. Mrs. Bridges in the kitchen.
Oh, yes, know them well.
Yeah, it looks lovely, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, lovely.
Right, Peter, what about you?
Well, I'm just
I better
doing...
get my chicken out too. Wait a minute. Sorry. I've got to get these
Peter,
out.
what about
There
you? I
ain't
better get my
nobody
chicken out.
here
Which
but
camera am I
chickens.
supposed to talk to at the moment? Get your chicken out
Is this
first.
just simmering?
Yes.
Is it reduced yet?
No, it hasn't actually. Don't ask questions like that.
sorry.
Get back. Get back in your own
Now,
corner.
I wanted to see what something
quick,
reduced looked like.
Well,
But
I'll
it
put one of
means
these on.
boil
Now,
it open for
here's
hours.
the little tie. Look, there you are. That's where it's cooked, you see? Pretty, isn't it? Now, what we do to finish it off is we cut this string from
What's
here.
that? Crispy stuff? Is that
That's
the
filo
fil-
pastry, yeah. Cut that. We blanch some green onion
going on over
strings.
there? Oh, yeah,
We
sorry.
blanch some green onion strings into hot water, then refresh them in cold. And all you do is retie them like this, so it makes it look just a little bit more attractive. You can do them in bows if they're long enough, but if you haven't got bows, well, don't worry about it.
Could put a little cherry there.
Yeah, good idea.
Shut up,
Look
Eve.
quite Christmassy, wouldn't
Yeah, it would.
Now, also,
Have
too,
yours.
Oh, just mind you, this is boiling hot.
boiling
Be
hot.
very careful.
The spring onion.
This is the spring onions.
That was my cue to come on and sing Spring Onion.
See, they're just meant to be golden brown like that.
There's a pair of clippers.
Golden.
I've got a pair under my
Oh,
arm,
good.
thank you, under my wing.
Phew.
Your wing.
Oh, yes, don't say few like
No,
that.
sorry,
they're
it's just
gorgeous.
the clippers under your arm.
Oh, they're all right. I've got, I'll eat this
Sorry.
one. I'll serve you another one. So I can see my sword. That's what. Have you glanced over my right shoulder? That's
It's
what you call
simmering.
simmering reduction. That's
Ooh.
called boiling dry. So just a few of those, gently on there like that, and I will just return to my sauce. Now, as I was saying
Sorry,
with
we
my,
nearly lost our giblet then.
this is the champagne.
I don't
Away
know.
from there.
The chicken
Why have we
stock.
gotta give it away?
Would
Or just a
you
little
mind
bit.
for a minute? I'm trying to tell people out here what I'm doing.
All right, I'm sorry, we were just
It's the
worried.
champagne, the pumpkin, and the chicken stock. And finally, just now, I should have actually turned the electricity off there. Turn the electricity off, add the cream, because it'll be quite hot enough. I should have let this is actually boiling. Let this just come down. Again, it should have cooked a little longer to evaporate. Pardon me, Belgian, the champagne's a bit gassy, isn't it? And I'll put the jacket on.
All right.
Keep away.
All right, keep away.
Here's the sorbet. We just did the glasses and a little bit of egg white that's slightly beaten.
I once
and
wanted
then,
to dive into a huge vat of ice cream and swim around, you know.
oh, good idea. Be a lovely
Very thick
idea.
swimming, wouldn't it?
Oh, we dropped a bit on there. Do you want it? I've been dying to do that all
Take me
night.
anywhere, couldn't you?
And then
What's
we'll just
that,
pop
a bit of
just a
chive?
bit of mint. No,
Oh,
just a bit
mint.
of mint. So it's very simple, you see. That's the pate.
Pate?
I'm sorry, that's the pate.
Oh, that's
of
pate.
fruits.
She doesn't know what
That's
lettuce
the
is. You
sauce.
don't know what pate is.
No, sorry.
And this is meant to be reduced to a cream, and it hasn't done it.
Oh.
But you just pour this rather than over. We like to pour it round. You call it
That's
swamp.
enough, Peter, I think.
Is the word swamped? Is the
Right,
word?
let's go
It's
through
meant
to
to
the
be done
table
for
and have a
colour.
sample, shall
Right,
we?
what shall I take?
You
You
take the
you
cold.
take the
I think
salad.
you're safer with that.
Right.
Do I
And I'll
take the
bring
champagne
this.
as well or not?
No, we've
No,
got some
leave
at the
that. We've
table.
got some
No,
there.
we've got gallons
we're
of
not
it.
that
Oh, sorry.
hard up.
I thought that we had to...
Right.
That is the one. Head up.
Actually, the mint looks as though it's seen better days, doesn't
the
it?
mint has definitely seen better days.
Anyway, this is a simple, as I say,
Little simple
a simple
supper.
thing.
When do we have that?
Salad-
First or...
Well, you can,
Well,
we
in
thought
the
at the end.
Edwardian days, shut up, it's my turn. In the Edwardian days, they used to eat, because they ate such huge, gargantuan, long
Gargantuan,
courses.
I love that
they
word.
Ate, it's a nice word, it means
Yeah,
big.
yes.
Yes. They used to eat that to cleanse the palate so as they could go on, but they ate in a very strange manner. So we've got here the roasted pastors, and we've got this thing like our set that goes round. It's been lovely to have you with us, the longest I can't tell you.
Thank
a
you.
little rose for you, David, to you, to all our
thank
wonderful
you,
audience
David.
here, and to everybody
David.
at home.
Thank
God
you.
bless you. We'll see you soon.
God bless
Thank
everybody.
you.